Hello, everybody. Chef Val here. It is Sunday, February 15th, 2026. And you know what that means? The 2026 Vegan Health Bundle has been for sale for 2 days. And you only have a week from today, February 22nd, to get the bundle, because then it'll be gone forever. And the bundle has over 70 different items in it, with over $4,500 worth of merchandise in the bundle, wonderful cookbooks, instructional videos, doctor programs talking all about the health benefits of a vegan, healthy, whole foods lifestyle. This is the 4th year I've been a part of the Vegan Health Bundle. And there are so many wonderful things in the bundle. All week long, I'm going to be interviewing people that are in the bundle. But today's interview is probably going to be my favorite. So I have been in the bundle for 4 years. And Chef Julia Dunaway, who is my special guest, has put something in the bundle every year, just like I have. And whatever she puts in the bundle has been my favorite. If I had an award for favorite thing in the bundle for 4 years, it would go to Chef Julia. She's put in wonderful things in the past, her cookbooks about Oriental cooking and things like that. But this year, she has whole wheat, sourdough, both written instructions, but the best thing are her videos. I've watched her video class 2 times now, okay? It's so good. She goes into great detail. She tells you step by step what to do. And visually, she shows you what is the dough supposed to look like. And she uses these techniques I have never seen before. And I have been making sourdough bread for quite a while. So I'm going to brag on Chef Julia. We're going to talk all about sourdough bread today. So welcome, Chef Julia. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for such a nice introduction. I'm glad that you've enjoyed my offerings all these years. This is my 5th year to be in the bundle. And, I feel like I finally kind of know what I'm doing a little bit. But yeah, I've always enjoyed your offerings too, the macrobiotic things, because of being half Japanese. I have always known about macrobiotics and about brown rice and all the healthy, miso, tofu, whatever, I eat all that stuff anyway, natto, pickles, fermentation, all of that. That's my daily life. So when I see somebody post some kind of glorious, fully loaded miso soup, that's the first thing I see. Oh, I'm going to make that because that's something I would like to eat any day. So I made your soup. It was so good.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. So tell everybody, where do you live? How long have you been a chef? What's your background?
Okay. I live in Azle, Texas, which is near Fort Worth. And I'm 71. I'll be 72 this year. So I had a whole career before I became a chef. I was a clinical social worker administrator for the Federal Bureau of Prisons over the entire country for about 20 years. Before that, I was in private practice. I worked in all kinds of settings for behavioral health and, I was a therapist basically. And so then I went to culinary school when I was 54, thinking that when I retired one day, I would like to do something in the culinary business for fun because that was my hobby. So I became a chef in 2009, and that was about 6 years before I retired. So I have 30 years of active duty military, and then I became a chef. And then my specialty at first was anything. I cooked any kind of food you could imagine, but I switched over to plant-based cooking only in 2018 because I was getting older and I was starting to have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, getting kind of heavy, a lot heavier than I am now. And I just knew about it because I had read the Blue Zones. I had read Dean Ornish's work. I was kind of up on those things because I was an educated person. I am an educated person. So I thought, well, I'm going to do that and try to reverse these health conditions naturally instead of taking a bunch of medication that the doctor recommended, statins and high blood pressure medication and all this stuff. And so, once I started eating plant-based, I lost weight. I started getting healthier, and here I am, whatever that is, 8 years later almost, and I'm still doing great. And I don't take any medicine except I've always taken thyroid medicine, a small dosage, but I'm off the blood pressure medicine, off the statins. I had a complete heart coronary evaluation because my 41-year-old son died in 2024 of a hypertensive cardiac disease. And he just, went to bed and didn't wake up. And he had uncontrolled high blood pressure and it thickened his heart. So it was a shock to the family and it was a shock to me because he wasn't terribly overweight. He didn't eat a plant-based diet. He did for a while, but then he went through a period where he was just always on the go, girlfriend out of state, never at home. And so anyway, so that's made, sorry, my dogs are in the background barking. That has made me even more, passionate about the whole food, plant-based, no oil lifestyle because a family member that I love died suddenly, died young. And so I'm sticking with it. I never really miss eating the old way. I've learned to cook gourmet food, all kinds of gourmet food using my plant-based methods, and I'm perfectly happy with that. And I teach others.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, and I'm so sorry for your loss. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Chef Julia and I are both teachers, and one of my favorite part of my job is the cooking classes and teaching other people. I mean, I also do personal chef services, which really takes up most of my time, but I love interacting with the people and teaching them recipes. And just so you know, like a little bit about my background, my first job, I was 17 years old. I went into the food industry and I was working at a delicatessen. And by the age of 18, I was managing the delicatessen. And we made sandwiches, soups, and we made pizza, and we made bread from scratch, huge amounts of bread. So I have a background with bread. But even before that, I remember my mom had a sourdough starter on her countertop, and she would make homemade bread for us when we were kids. And then my first job, like I said, I was managing the deli by 18. I just fell in love with the food industry. And then after that, I worked at a French bakery and restaurant where we made bread from scratch. And we would make huge batches of bread. We would make French loaves and things like that. So again, here I am with bread. I have a love affair with bread. I would rather have a slice of homemade bread than a slice of chocolate cake. And my mom's the same way. We have this huge love of bread. Right. So fast forward, then I discovered healthy, organic, macrobiotic cooking. I was in my early 20s. And I went to work at a macrobiotic cooking school, and she had a sourdough starter. And as her assistant, it was my job to feed the sourdough starter every once in a while, and every once in a while we would make a loaf of bread. But she had a grinder, and she ground her own flour with wheat berries. So talk about fresh flour. I always remember that. I don't know, that would be like a dream if you could grind your own flour. That would be so fresh. So I remember making the sourdough bread, but I don't remember exactly what we did because that was a while ago. And I've always made bread with yeast, and I make cinnamon rolls. I love doing that. And 5 years ago, I started my own sourdough starter. Just started my own. I got my mom's old cookbook. I said, Mom, where's your old cookbook about sourdough bread? And she gave me her old cookbook. And I just started my own sourdough about 5 years ago. And I've had it in the fridge. And I usually bake bread in the wintertime. So I pull it out and I would make bread. Pizza dough is my favorite thing to make with sourdough and everything. But my sourdough bread never looked like yours. I liked it. I liked the taste of it. But it was pretty dense and because it wasn't rising enough. I mean, I ate it and I loved it, but I knew that I was missing something. And then because we're both teachers and everything, people ask me, can you teach a class how to make sourdough bread? And I'm like, it would take way too long. And Chef Julia's class is a video. And when you watch the video, she tells you it takes all day long. How are you going to teach a cooking class like that? Well, she figured it out. She recorded it and she did a great job. And her bread, you got to watch this video. I cannot say enough. You have to watch this video. So I get out my sourdough starter and I thought I was going to make a loaf of bread, but I did her water test And my sourdough starter, mine still fails the water test. It does not work with the water test, but after trying to get it to work, by the next day, I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to make a recipe, even though it failed the test, because I have to make this bread because it's going to take 2 days. And I worked with it, but you probably, Chef Julia, you probably would have gone, oh my God, because there were parts when I was doing it that my dough didn't look anything like yours. But I stuck with it. I stuck with it. And parts of it, it was just sticking to my hand like crazy. And I'm like, this is too wet. And I would add a little bit of flour. So by the time I got done and I formed it into a loaf, I was like, oh my God, I bet this isn't going to turn out, because I did some things to it. It came out. It still came out because I was using most of your techniques. This is what it looks like. Okay.
Oh, it looks good.
So
that's not bad at all. Yeah.
See all those holes? That means that it rose and everything. I've never gotten that in a loaf of sourdough bread before.
Yeah.
Mine's usually denser than that. Now, I did cook mine a little too long. I think I had it in the oven for a little too long.
Hey, honey.
And I use whole wheat. I use 100% I-corn whole wheat. So mine's going to be a little heavier than Chef Julia's. But it's, oh my God, I cannot stop eating it. It's so delicious.
Great.
So I wanted to tell you a little bit about my background about sourdough and everything. So why did you get interested in sourdough? What's your background?
Well, I grew up in California, so Northern California. And, Northern California is famous for sourdough bread. San Francisco, sourdough bread, the great big loaves of really sour sourdough bread. So growing up, every restaurant would give you a big basket of that delicious sourdough bread. It's a lot stronger, tangier sourdough than anything I've tasted ever since. So I always had this love of that kind of sourdough bread. But then many years ago, 7, 8 years ago, we had some local people that made sourdough bread here in Fort Worth. And I bought one guy's sourdough bread, artisan sourdough bread that he made in his home kitchen. And it was really good, but then he moved. Well, then another guy in town has a bread company called Icon, I-C-O-N. And he was at farmers market selling bread. And his bread is famous here. It's so good. It's like, he uses almost like 80% white bread flour and then 20% whole wheat flour. And so it's a lot lighter, but it has a delicious taste. And he teaches classes. So a few years ago, I think it's been about 3 years now, I took a class from him. And I it was at somebody's house, and I took the class, and I learned how to make his bread, and then he gets his flour from Barton Springs Mill, where I get my flour now. And so he told me what flour to use. And I said, can I increase the percentage of whole wheat flour instead of bread flour? He said, oh, yeah, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It will just have a different texture. So I kept playing around with it to where I got it to where it was, 80% whole wheat flour. Well, then I discovered, when I went on a tour of Barton Springs Mill, they had some special flours that some of them are sifted. 40% of some of the whole bran is sifted out, so they're much lighter, but they're still whole wheat. They're just slightly sifted. So I started mixing some of those with my whole wheat flour, and then it was even lighter. So then 2 years ago, Trent, the guy who owns that bread company, had a class at my house, and I took his class again. So every time I would take his class, I would just ask him a million questions, study all the techniques, write everything down. And then I told him I wanted to teach a class. He doesn't have anything online. And I kept telling him, you need to record your class so that people could purchase it from you. And he's like, oh, I don't want to do that. I said, well, is it okay if I teach your techniques and your recipe and do a class for my people? He said, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. You use my recipe. So I had his blessing. And then I did my class, which was very well received. And then he's coming back next month, and he's going to do another class here at my house. So I'm going to take it again as a student, because every time I take his class, I get better. And so that's how I got interested in it. But I'm all about perfecting it and making it better. So my best loaf of bread that I make is the seeded sourdough bread. It is the most delicious bread. It has all these pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, poppy seeds on the outside, and it uses kind of a lighter sifted flour on the inside. It's fluffy, it's light, it has a real nutty sourdough taste. And I have a slicer. Have you ever seen a bread slicer?
Well, I saw it in your video.
Yeah, so I have that slicer. It's a manual bread slicer, but I can slice that sourdough bread really thin to make sandwiches or
Nice.
whatever I want to make. So, which is nice because it's kind of hard to cut sourdough bread sometimes because it's hard to cut. So now I can cut it super thin and make whatever I want to make with it. And then my next thing was they had Barton Springs Mill offered sourdough pizza class. And it's in Austin, so it's like a 3-hour trip for me. But I went and I took their sourdough pizza class, got their sourdough starter, and then I started experimenting with sourdough pizza. And I made mine truly sourdough pizza dough because they only use a tiny bit of starter in theirs. So I actually made mine to where, excuse me, it has 100 grams of starter in the pizza dough. And so like today, I think, I don't, you can't see this, but I did a video just
Yeah,
right
we can
before I
see it.
came on with you. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
And then I have the whole pizza right here. You can see how fluffy the crust is, and it also is nice and crispy on the bottom.
Yeah.
But then it's also got a lot of body. It's not just a flat crust. It has a nice kind of a chew to it. So, I learned how to do that. And then I taught a sourdough pizza class in person. I had like 15 people come here to my house, and we used my outside gas grill to make the pizza, and I have a Ninja pizza oven. And I had, 15 people all making pizza here in my house. And then I did the video, which went over really well, and sold it as a class. And then most recently, I had the entire Fort Worth chapter of the Texas Chefs Association here at my house, and I taught them how to do it. And this was a bunch of local chefs who didn't really, I taught them how to make whole wheat sourdough pizza crust, which that's not a big interest in the local community because, health is not that big of an interest, but it's becoming that way in my chapter because they keep asking me to do these demos. Like I did a demo on how to make salad in January. So, and I taught them how I make my daily salad and keep all these fresh salad vegetables around. And then this month that we had a thing on making kimchi, and a friend of mine made kimchi, but they wanted me to make miso soup. So I made a gigantic pot of miso soup for 25 people, and everybody ate it and they loved it. They were like, "This is the best miso soup I've ever had. How did you make this? Is that your timer or something?"
No, that's my phone. Just ignore it. Sorry.
So anyway, they were so excited about miso soup, which made me feel good because it was kind of like the classic miso soup with wakame seaweed, tofu. I had carrots, zucchini, and onions, and just random pea pods, just a few vegetables in it. And so anyway, I'm turning the Chefs Association into a group of people that are interested in my crazy plant-based stuff. Where before, I don't think they wouldn't have given it a second thought in years past.
That is fantastic. Yeah, I'm loving that. So can I ask you some questions about sourdough?
Sure. Ask me anything.
How important is the water test? Because my starter has failed it every time.
Well, my teacher, Trent from Icon Bread, would always say it has to float or you're not going to have a good rise in your bread. So I would recommend that you make a new starter, that you follow the instructions for making your own starter that are in the recipe and just make a new starter. And keep your old starter too, but make a new starter and experiment with it and see if that makes the big difference.
So what I did was, see, my starter was more liquid than what you showed in your video. So I took my starter and I divided it in half. And one half of it, I started to feed more flour to it than what I had before. And I have a thicker starter now.
Yeah.
That's only been like 2 days.
Well,
It's
see, here's the consistency of my starter.
yeah.
So it's like thick pancake batter.
Yeah. So yeah,
And
this is the one that's thicker now. This one's thicker
okay.
now. Yeah.
Another thing you could do is you could just keep feeding that starter every day, like leave it out and
Hmm.
follow my sourdough starter instructions and take 100 grams of it out and feed it with 100 grams of water, 100 grams of flour, and do that every day until it starts bubbling up better, until it floats in water.
Yeah. Well, it's my starter does bubble up. It bubble.
Okay.
In fact, this is the thinner one, and
Uh-huh.
it has beautiful bubbles in it. But
Uh-huh.
this one's thinner, so when I put it in water, because it's thin, it just dissipates. Because this one's
Yeah.
thinner. This is
Well,
my original one. Yeah.
the real starter, like mine has been sitting out. You probably can't see it,
Yeah,
but
I can see it.
you can see the bubbles on it.
Oh yeah.
And when the starter is ready, what happens is it has a dome on it. It rises, and then when it's fully risen, it has like a dome
Hmm.
on the top of the starter. That means it's kind of at its peak. And another thing I did in the video, did I show you about my Goldie sourdough starter home? You
What
know,
was that?
it looks, I'll show it to you.
Is that the little base that you put it on?
Yeah, well, it's you plug it in.
Yeah, you did show that in the video.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the jar fits under the lid.
Hmm.
And that keeps it at the ideal temperature to rise pretty rapidly so that your starter could be ready in a couple hours instead of all day of sitting around, especially in the winter when it's colder. So,
Yeah.
you know, I found this to be very useful.
And so too, I'm in Michigan, and right now
Mhm.
it's very, very cold. So you took your temperature gauge and you kept checking the temperature of it, something I've never done before. But
Mhm. Yeah.
this time I did that to make sure I had the right, and I had it sitting over the top of my register where my heat was coming out, because
Mhm.
otherwise here in Michigan where it's cold, we don't really
Yeah.
have a warm place. But that worked.
Mhm.
I kept it at 80 degrees, as
Mhm.
you instructed, and I think that helped a lot too, is to
Yeah. Yeah.
always check the temperature. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
now,
that's an important thing that, I didn't know that until I took the class from my
absolutely.
friend. Yeah.
And that's what's so important about the bundle, is you're going to
Mhm.
get this class that Chef Julia, and like I said, so many people have said to me, why don't you teach a class with sourdough bread? And I'm like, well, like, I don't have as much knowledge as you. And I'm telling everybody, hey, remember you said you wanted me to buy the bundle, and you're going to get this incredible
Yeah. Yeah.
sourdough class right here,
Well, you could teach your own, like once you get your bread the way you want it, like you get it to turn out the way you like it, then you can teach your own class.
Yeah.
And feel free to use any of my tips. I don't care. I mean, I'm not the
Oh,
only
you're
one
such
who
a
can teach it
sweetheart. Thank
because,
you.
my friend gave me all his knowledge. And anyway, everything he gave me is in the book Tartine.
Okay.
So, by Chad Robertson, he basically used that book. And then he told me, he said, well, it's in that book. I bought the book and it pretty much is the same, but he tweaked it and did some different things. So just like you're tweaking mine by using different flour and whatever. So, I think the important thing though is get your starter right.
Yes.
Get your starter to where it bubbles and it domes. So, and then when you take a piece of it off and put it in water, it floats on top. That will make all the difference in the world.
That is my goal. Yes. Now I am going to start a new starter with spelt flour. Have you ever
Okay.
used spelt?
I haven't used it, but I don't know why you couldn't.
Yeah, I'm going to try it and see how it goes.
Yeah.
So how important is this Dutch oven? Because I don't have anything like that. I used this, which is a stone loaf pan, and I don't have a stone to put in the bottom of my oven either. And you cooked your bread in this beautiful Dutch oven.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like how important is that, do you think?
Here, I'll get it so you could see, so people could see it. um, you can buy these my husband got me this for a gift. It's a Le Creuset. So you can imagine that it was not cheap, but I've seen copycats of this everywhere. It's dark. So the thing is, in this style of sourdough bread making, the importance of having the Dutch oven is it creates this closed environment. And so it rises better. I think that's what it does, is it, and then you put ice cubes in it, and the steam from the ice cubes then kind of create the little bit of steam in there, and then it's closed in. It's the first 18 minutes, it just shoots up and makes a really nice big round loaf of bread. And then you take it off for the last, whatever it is, 20 minutes, and then it browns it really nicely. So I think for this style of bread making, having the Dutch oven is important, but there are other styles of bread making that people use regular loaf pans.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can't do it that way. I think that I'm just teaching a certain style of making a round bowl and putting it in a closed Dutch oven, because that was the way I was taught. That's how he makes his bread. So, and that's kind of was a trend on sourdough bread making in the closed Dutch oven.
Yeah,
But
I
it's not
have
the only
never,
way.
in all the years I've been making regular bread and sourdough bread, I've never, till I watched you, I've never seen baking the bread covered.
Yeah.
So that was so interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I also, too, throughout the years of making bread, we were always taught, or I was always taught, when you're making the bread, you don't want the bread to stick to your hand
Mhm.
because then it's too wet.
Yeah.
But that's what I was taught. Yet watching your video, there are times when you're working with it where your dough was a lot wetter than what I was used to. But yet the loaf that I made, this was definitely wetter than what I was used to, but it has more moisture in it than the loaves that I had made previously. So that was something that was so interesting to me, that
Yeah.
watching visually, your dough was wetter and at times it did stick to your hand. So apparently that's not important whether it sticks to your hand or not.
No, it doesn't really matter. And then, I use the, the little bread dough thing to move it around if it's kind of wet, and that keeps me from having to handle it a lot and have it stick to my hands. So, but yeah, and even in the class with the teacher, everybody's hands were all covered with dough, and it was real sticky. And he said, "It's okay. This is a high hydration recipe.
Mm.
So high water content recipe. And it's supposed to be like that. That's how you get the big holes and the big airy rise in your bread." So that's how it was supposed to be. So I don't worry about it. I just, follow the, weigh everything, weigh the water, weigh the flours, weigh the salt, add it in the right sequence, do everything that I was taught, and it always comes out good.
Yeah. Well, your bread looks amazing. I wish we lived closer and come over there and try some of your bread.
I wish you could.
Yeah. All right. So, what are we're going to change the subject here, but what are some of your other things that are in the bundle that are your favorite?
Oh my goodness. I made so many things from the bundle. I made 9 things and recorded videos.
Wow.
It was like it took me 2 days, and all I did was stand in here, and because I'm going to be away from my kitchen cooking area for about 4 days, and I had to do it and get them done so that I could post the videos. I made Amanda Sick has a book called Want a Date, and I made her Snicker bars. They're really good. The only problem I ran into was if you take them out of the freezer, they kind of get real soft on the topping. So you have to be careful not to have them out of the freezer too long. But they taste delicious. I made tomato salsa from Ramses Bravo. That was good. I made your miso soup. I love that. I made an ultimate cashew cream sauce from Mark Reinfeld. He has 20 oil-free vegan sauces. And that cashew cream sauce was great. And then Make It Raw 4 with Chef AJ and Melissa Maris. They had all these great salads. So earlier today, I made some kind of inspired by their book salad of all kinds of cabbages and colorful vegetables. And then peanut butter protein bars from Carrie Henneman. Those were really good and they held up well. They were nice and solid, so you could take them somewhere. Lori Landry's banana muffins from her guilt-free cookbook. And then Tim Kaufman. Now, this is funny. Tim Kaufman has a tofu book called Tofu Bundle. And I'm looking through it going, well, what does that guy know about tofu? You know, he's some guy in the Northeast, you know, he's not any kind of tofu expert. So I picked this random recipe called pecan crusted tofu, thinking, it's not going to be that good. But I made it and it was delicious. It was like, wow, I love this. I'm going to make this for Thanksgiving. I'm going to make this for Easter. And so then I got real excited and I looked at his other book. He's got a book called Comfort Food. And I started looking through that going, well, this looks good. This looks good. And I found a bunch of recipes in there that I want to make. I probably won't get to make them for the bundle, but I'll make them sometime.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to check out Tim Kaufman's tofu book. I did see it, but now that you told me that,
that's good.
I made a pecan crusted tofu recipe many years ago. I'm going to check that. But isn't Tim Kaufman, he wrote Escape.
Right, yeah. And that's like a 400-page book or something, and it's in the bundle.
Well, yeah, what I love in the bundle is we have the male side of veganism represented. In fact, his book Escape, I didn't know anything about it. I was just going through the bundle, looking at stuff. I pull it up. I couldn't stop reading it.
It's a good book.
His reading technique just draws you in. He's very like visual and detailed and things like that. And it's his healing.
He's a teacher.
Oh, is he?
Teacher. Yes.
Cool.
I think he's a high school or he was. I don't know if he still is. He was a high school teacher.
And apparently, I didn't get through the whole book because I didn't have time, but he healed himself and then his wife healed himself.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Nate Maris.
Yeah, he has a cracker book that looks really good.
Yeah, I'm going to make one of his dips. And it's a hummus dip with some beets in it. I have a beet hummus recipe too, but his is different. It's what's so cool is that the recipes are different.
Yeah.
I'm hearing myself echo back, and I'm not really sure why.
I can't hear any echoing. So
you're not hearing an echo? Okay.
No.
But so we have his book, Nate Maris's Full Mast. It's his healing journey.
Oh, okay.
And then we have another man, Chuck Carroll, Lost and Found.
Yeah.
So what is really cool is we have these three men that have written books, their testimonials about how changing their diet and eating healthy helped heal their body. That's fantastic. I did Lori Laundrie's chocolate brownies.
Yeah.
With sweet potato and beans. You can see I've been eating them. I put chocolate chips on the top. That's very good. That recipe.
They look good. Yeah.
Yeah, I have like a list of things that I'm going to try this week to make. And I am definitely going to do your bread again. And I'm going to do a pizza crust this time. After I can get the starter to float. And
I'm sure keep working on it.
Great. Let's see, Melissa Maris, and Chef AJ, they're kind of, our leaders that put the bundle together, and they have Make It Raw 4.
Right, yeah.
They have their black licorice recipe.
Oh, yeah?
Have you checked that out yet?
No, I made one of their salads, though. I made a salad called the jalapeno black pepper crispy salad out of that book, and it was really good. Yeah,
I was thinking about trying that black licorice one. That looks really good.
I did not see that.
See, that's why it's really nice to talk to other people in the bundle because there's so much in the bundle. Sometimes you miss the stuff. Oh, the fermented food book. Eating Your Way to Health, fermented food. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I was on her show this morning, and Nicole Fogelman, she had me on her show. It was on the PBNSG, Plant-Based Nutrition Support Group. I did a thing for them last fall on the pizza. And so she remembered me. And so she was real excited about the sourdough bread and pizza because she's on fermented stuff. So she's all interested in fermentation, and there's nothing more fermented than, sourdough. So she had me on her show this morning, and we talked about fermentation and bread and pizza and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm talking with her Saturday the 21st.
Okay, great. She's really nice.
And I have a huge crock of sauerkraut
Oh,
that's
wow.
been fermenting for this coming Wednesday. I'm going to package it. So it's been fermenting for 4 weeks.
Oh, okay, great.
I make sauerkraut on a regular basis. And in her, what she has in the bundle, though, she has fermented turmeric root.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try that because I love turmeric root. Definitely going to try that. So I believe the miso soup that's in my cancer healing and prevention that you did had turmeric in it.
Yes, it did. I got some fresh turmeric, and I just used my grater and grated it into the soup, and it was perfect. It made it such a nice color.
I adore fresh turmeric. It's like one of my favorite things. And the miso soup, look, I went to the Oriental store yesterday and I
got your gobo.
burdock, or what they call gobo, and they sell it like in a huge long piece. Look at this.
I know. I buy it and make the Japanese have a dish called kimpura, and you just scrape the outside. You don't peel it. You just kind of scrape it and clean it and cut it into matchstick pieces and saute it with carrots and a little bit of like soy sauce and mirin. And my mother used to make that all the time, and I love it. It tastes so good.
Yeah, I learned that in the macrobiotic cooking school like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So cancer healing properties is it purifies the blood, cleanses toxins out of your system. And so the miso soup recipe that I created was specific ingredients that all have the anti-cancer properties in it.
I could not get burdock root because the only place I can get it around here is the big H Mart Korean supermarket, and that's like an hour away. And I just haven't had a chance to get over there this week. So I'm going to get it probably in a couple weeks, and then I'll make it again. I'll put it in my miso soup because, I never thought to put the gobo in my miso soup, but I put lots of other vegetables in it.
Yeah. And what I have in the bundle, for anybody who doesn't know, is Cancer Healing and Prevention with Macrobiotic Principles. And it's 4 videos of classes that I taught last year. Each video is about 2 hours long. And the booklet is 65 pages long. And what was great was, because it was an actual class, there's students asking questions. And one of the students did say they wanted to make a miso soup, but they didn't have the burdock root. And I told them, go ahead and make the miso soup without it, because they already had some of the other vegetables. And then one of the other ladies in the class suggested that you could get burdock powder. And you could put that in the soup if you couldn't find, the fresh burdock.
Yeah.
So it's really nice that's in the bundle with these videos is that there's so much information that you'll learn. It's not like there's so much in the bundle. You have to do it all at once. But if you just sit back and relax and watch like one of my videos, or Chef Julia's sourdough, there's so much questions that you guys have that's all answered in the videos.
Yeah.
If you watch it.
That's a good point. And you can always improvise. Like when I made your soup, I went to the store and I bought all the ingredients I could buy. And I bought a daikon radish, big piece, like that big, that long. When I got home, it was nowhere to be found. So it must have not gotten into my bag because I looked everywhere. I think it got, how sometimes when they're bagging groceries, something gets shoved to the side. So I had no daikon radish. I was so disappointed because I like daikon. But the soup tasted fine because it had all the other vegetables. And it had plenty of flavor from the turmeric and the miso and whatever else was in it, that just gave it good flavor. So you can always improvise. It doesn't have to be exact. The ingredients have to be exact. Use what you have.
So when I was at the Oriental store, I also got they carry an organic miso at the Oriental store that I go to. which is really nice because some of the other misos at the Oriental
Mhm.
store are not organic, but this is just organic soybeans and sea salt, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then
I've used that before.
my other, I use Miso Master.
Yeah, I use that too.
Yeah. Are there
Those are
any other
good.
types of miso? Do you get it? Or do you have any local places that make miso around you?
No, we don't. But when I traveled to Japan last year, 2024, I went to, Nagano, and they're known for making miso, and was the best tasting miso I've ever had. And I brought some home with me, and I've used the last of it. So I'd like to make my own miso. It's not that hard. You just have to make your own koji,
Yes.
and that takes some time. You can order it, and it's kind of like sourdough. You make your own mixture that you have to, and then you have to cook soybeans, and then you have to inoculate it with the koji, and then you have to let it age and do all this stuff. So it's a process. But
Absolutely.
I think it would be fun to try it.
Okay, so you went to Japan and you got to taste homemade miso. Oh my God, that would be
It's good, yeah.
amazing.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Hey, Val, do you ever eat natto?
I can't.
Okay.
It is so good for you, and the health benefits are extraordinary. And so I have tried to eat natto, and I have tried everything. People said, do it with this, mix it with this, blah, blah, blah. I can't. I cannot stand the taste of it. So I get nano-Chinese,
Uh-huh.
and I do take that, dissolve it in water and just drink it. But I just can't handle the taste of natto. I can't.
Well, I thought I didn't like it either. And then a few months ago, I went to the Asian store and I found some natto that was made with black soybeans.
Okay.
And it has a milder taste and a better taste. And then the other thing I found that made it more palatable is I took the frozen package of the black bean natto and I put it in a container. I put some soy sauce on it, some of the Chinese mustard, some scallions, and then I let it sit out. And as soon as it was defrosted, I started like chunking it up. And then when it was still really, really cold, not warm at all, but really cold, then I took it and dumped it on hot rice and I ate it and it tasted so good. And I finally thought, now I see why people like it. So that made it taste so much better. The fact that it was black soybeans, the fact that it was icy cold on hot rice. Because the longer it sits out, the more it develops that slime.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're eating it, it's like eating all this like weird slime. But if it's cold and it's like, not frozen anymore, but still cold, it doesn't develop such a weird texture and it tastes pretty good. So try my method. Maybe you'll change your mind.
Maybe. I have koji in my fridge right now. I made amazaki from scratch with the koji. And it was a long, involved process. That's another fermented food. We're talking about fermented food. And the homemade amazaki was delicious. I loved it. But it wasn't liquefied. Like amazaki is usually like a thick malted like drink. When you make it from scratch, it's more like rice pudding, which is absolutely delicious. But I kind of like the amazaki I get from a company down in North Carolina, natural import company, and it's imported from Japan. And their amazaki is more smooth. It doesn't have the chunks in it.
Yeah, I have not ever had that, so I don't really know. I don't have a reference for that.
Amazaki? Oh, you got to try some amazaki. You got to try that. A natural sweetener. It's made, it's fermented. You look into
I'll look for it.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I really like amazaki. Yeah. So let's promote the bundle. Everybody's got to get the bundle. Let's see, before February 22nd. That's the last day. I printed out your book, by the way.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, this is just one page of it. The rest, you know what I did when I was making my sourdough bread? I have notes written all over it.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, the bundle is a digital download. and you get all the books and the videos and everything. And then anything you want to, you can go print. I also printed up, what I have and everything.
Yeah.
Then there's links to go to the videos to watch, Chef Julia's sourdough course, to watch my cancer prevention course, and everybody else's course. And if you download it, I have mine on a flash drive. You have it forever. So you got over 70 items, and they're just things you're going to have forever. You're not going to, after a year, it's going to expire if you download it.
Yeah, good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I download the ones I want to keep to my computer. And then usually out of all 70 items, there's not, I don't want to keep all of them. There might be a third of the things that I personally want to keep. So that's what I do.
This is what the vegan health bundle looks like when you click on the link, and we have 7 days, 9 hours left. And you really need, even if you're thinking about buying the bundle, just click on the link and look at all these incredible items that are in the bundle. Chef Raw Yin, Chef Yin. She's got a couple really cool things, Chinese takeout, and the other one is ice cream.
Yeah, she's always good.
Oil-free vegan sauces. There's beautiful Chef Julia Dunaway.
You're so sweet.
The power of herbs and spices. This one looks really good too.
Yeah, I looked at that one. That looked good. Oh, that one. Go back up, Val.
Which one?
The motto. Her story is really interesting to read. I read her story, a lot of it. It's very well written about how she reversed all kinds of health problems with a raw diet. And it's very, very interesting. She's Japanese, and that kind of caught my eye.
Oh, I'm going to check that one out. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
Here's the tofu one that you mentioned.
Yeah. Take a look at that.
Oh, I'm definitely going to take a look at that. Here's Lori Laundry. She's such a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
This is the yoga video that's in our bundle this year. I took a look at her yoga. Just the beginning of it, I started watching it. It's a very gentle yoga series.
Yeah, that's what I remember reading about that.
I like doing yoga. And here's the fermented food lady,
Nicole, yeah.
So much in. Oh, this lady, her kid book. You got kids.
Oh, yeah.
Kids book.
You're a Fruta. Barefoot Poppy, yeah.
And these two ladies, I'm really interested in talking to them. I watched the first hour and a half of their video, very calming, like the spiritual side of things. And they're talking about living a vegan lifestyle, like, how to deal with day-to-day issues that might come up in a loving way. They both seem like very nice ladies, yes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
What's that, Tuesday? At 2 p.m. I'm going to be talking to them.
Okay, great.
And here's Chef Ra Yin with her ice cream.
Okay.
I haven't looked at that ice cream one yet. But most people like ice cream. I like bread, but most people like ice cream. So this is everything that's in the bundle. Here, I gotta stop screen sharing. So if you're interested in the bundle, the link is in the description of this video, and the link is also on Chef Julia Dunaway's platforms. Tell everybody where they can follow you.
Oh, I'm on Facebook at Chef Julia, Instagram Julia Dunaway, YouTube Chef Julia Dunaway, and my latest thing is I'm on Substack. Chef
I
Julia
am too.
Dunaway.
Oh, we have to follow each other.
Yeah, look me up. I think I have 4,500 subscribers.
You have way more than me, and I've been on Substack for almost 5 years now.
Oh, I've been on there since October.
Yeah,
I brought a lot of people with me from my mailing list, so
that's nice.
I still have gotten quite a few new ones.
Yeah, I write at least 2 blogs a month. I have to get a blog up there about the bundle, though. That's the most recent
Yeah,
thing.
I've been posting on there and I go live on Substack about 3 times a week.
I have not tried going live on Substack yet. Haven't tried that
It's
yet.
really easy. They have a really good, it's just their camera and their quality is really good.
I'll have to
So
try
try.
that.
And it reverse images for you. So you
Nice.
can have it where you can have it on your portrait mode, front facing, so you could see your image. You can do a cooking demo, and when it's shown, it shows it like, nothing's reversed. So it looks great. And it will even, um, it'll do some kind of like editing to make you look better, which I always find helpful.
I don't want him to go too much. Sometimes it looks weird, though. I don't like
No, no,
AI.
it doesn't look fake. It looks natural.
I don't like that AI generated stuff.
No, it's not like that.
Well, that's good.
No. Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
if you're watching the video and you have a question for us, I should have said this earlier when we were talking, but even the replay, if you're watching the replay of us and you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. We'll definitely see the questions and be able to answer them. So any last minute things, anything else you want to add, Chef Julia?
no, I think that you covered a lot, and people just need to get their 99% off, and take advantage of it because there is a course in there worth $500.
Yes.
You think about if you were to just get a couple of these things, you could spend thousands of dollars. So, $49 is such a bargain.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I saw your dog in the cooking video, your bread video too. Tell me about your dog.
I have 3 boxers.
You have 3. Oh my.
They wander in and out here. I don't know where they're at. They must be with my husband. They're 1-year-old, 2 years old, and one is not quite 1 year old. And they wander in and out. They're very rowdy sometimes, and so they make life a lot of fun.
I have 5 cats.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I had a male and a female, and they had kittens. She actually had 4 kittens. I did give one away, but it was so hard because I fell in love with them. I stayed up all night long when they were born. I ended up keeping 3 of the kittens, and that's how I ended up with 5 cats.
That's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, but I think cats are a little easier than dogs.
Yeah.
So you take your dogs for walks and stuff?
We have a big yard for them. I do take them to obedience classes and stuff like that. But yeah, they can be a little difficult sometimes. Cats don't jump on people when they come over to see you. Dogs, when people walk in the door, they tend to run over there and jump on people because they're boxers, and that's what they do.
Yeah. This question just occurred to me because when I have a cooking class in my house, I try and put the cats upstairs. So when you have a cooking class at your house, what do you do with the dogs?
They stay out and play with everybody.
Oh, really?
And I always ask everybody, do you want me to put the dogs up? And everybody has always said, no, we love the dogs. We love dogs. And then they settle down, and then they just go and lay down on the floor next to the people. And sometimes I'll see one of them in somebody's lap, and I'll be like, oh, no, just push him down. And that person will say, no, I like him. And they'll be petting the dog. So a lot of people don't have dogs, and they like them, or they have them at home and they like dogs. So they haven't really ever complained. If anybody complained, I would put them all up.
Yeah.
But I don't have that many in-person things, though. I do mostly stuff online. And, I just don't do that much stuff in person anymore. Ever since COVID.
I have some regular customers who know my cats, and they don't have a problem. But if anybody had a cat allergy or something like that, I just like to, have them separate. But most of the time, the cats go underneath the bed or whatever. They fall asleep during the class anyway. So they're not as friendly as your dogs, it sounds like.
Yeah, these boxers, they want to be with people.
Well, that's very nice. I think it's so important to have animals in your life.
Yeah, I love them.
Yes. Just fill your life with love.
Hmm.
I also think that food is love too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And your pizza is just absolutely beautiful. It's so colorful and
Thank
pretty.
you.
I
Oh,
think
I have to show you this too.
yeah.
I made a salad, from the Make It Raw this
Yeah.
morning. I made a beautiful, like a Asian salad, and it has all these beautiful vegetables.
Just beautiful and colorful.
And
Yeah.
I made a peanut dressing for it with peanut butter and garlic and ginger that turned out really good. So, that's in the Make It Raw 4. That's a variation of one of their salads. So, I love making healthy food and sharing it with people, because then the people that I share it with, a lot of times they don't eat that kind of food and they think, oh, if my food tasted like this, I would eat more of it.
That's
So,
what I think that's what I get the most in my cooking classes. When people taste the food, they're so surprised. They go, "Oh my God, this is absolutely delicious." And you're like, "Well, I wouldn't teach you how to make it if it wasn't absolutely
yeah.
delicious."
Well, it was great talking to you, Val.
Yeah.
I will be back on, during the week with your video. It'll show the recorded video of me making your thing. And I hope my people can see this video. I guess, do you tag me or something, or how does it appear on my stuff? Will I have to share it?
You'll have to share it.
Okay. So you have a Facebook page. Is it Macro Val?
Yes, we are. Well, we're friends on our personal page, Valerie
Okay.
Wilson, and everything. You can go and share it from there.
Okay,
And
I'll do that.
Bernadette just commented, "Great conversation."
Okay.
Thank you, Bernadette. Appreciate that. Thank you, Chef Julia.
Okay. Thank
I'm
you.
telling, yeah, this is amazing, everybody. Her sourdough class really is.
Thanks a lot, Val.
And get the bundle. Everybody get the bundle.
Mhm.
And for now, get in the kitchen and cook healthy.
Okay. All right.